Hello my friends, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. It has been quite a turbulent few weeks, and no matter what I do, no matter what I say, no matter what sort of disclaimer I put in, there will always be someone who can poke a hole at it and say something that I've done wrong, but at least I'm saying something. And I want you to know that this video only comes from a place of good and good intentions, and I'm trying my best like everybody else. As I have some people think a large platform, even have a platform, I feel that it is my duty to speak up and do the best I can to educate my friends of all races, of all creeds, on the current affairs of Black Lives Matter. All lives matter, but at the moment, Black lives are in danger, and for all lives to matter, Black lives have to matter too. Today we are talking about how we can be activists, how we can be activists in our wheelchair, how we can be activists if we can't get out because of our disability. So I'm going to be giving you some tips and advice on how you can make a change and you can make a difference. If I have missed anything out, then please feel free to comment it down below. Let me know how you are making a change. So before I begin, I thought I would talk to you about why it matters to me. And I know firsthand what it is like to be discriminated against. I know what it is like to be a minority. I have always thought that being disabled and being in a wheelchair has made me more compassionate and more understanding, and no matter what a person's background or situation they are going through, I always find that I can empathise, I can always find common ground, I can talk to anybody. Please don't get me wrong, I do understand I am white privileged. I do understand my privilege, and I think I understand my white privilege more since watching many white privilege videos on Instagram. If I can find any, I will link them below, and if you know of any, then please link them below, because they really do hit home and they really did make me realise. When I was at school, I think was when I experienced the most ableism and the most kind of like discrimination. I left school and I went to college, and I studied humanities and I studied sociology, and I've always poo-pooed them and been like, oh well, I wanted to do media studies and I wanted to do photography, all the stuff that I'm good at, art, drama, but no, I had to do something useful. And I thought, oh well, look, I've never used those to this day. And I am eating a large slice of humble banoffee pie right now because I got an A for humanities. When I was studying the apartheid, I don't know what it was, but I mean, it shocked me, it was awful, it was uncomfortable, but it fascinated me that people were being treated so appallingly over the colour of their skin. And I don't know whether it's because I am disabled and I was able to empathise with that and know what it was like as to why I studied it and why I found it so fascinating and feel so strongly about it. And ever since I studied that Black history at school, I have been even more passionate about it. One thing that really upset me today was, yes, I can empathise with it, and I'm saying that yes, I've got some idea, and a Black person may turn around and say, girl, you have no idea. And up until that point I was like, I do have some sort of idea. Then I watched Mavenelle's Instagram IGTV that she had put up, And she said, I'm tired, I am sick and tired. You have got to fight for us. White people have to fight for us because we are tired. She said, I am tired of sitting in my car, going for a drive to the gym or wherever, and constantly rehearsing my lines in my head in case I get pulled over by the police. I am consciously thinking about making sure that if I get pulled over by the police, I keep my hands on my steering wheel and I don't grab for my handbag to get my ID out too quickly in case I am shot. And with that, I just burst into tears because no, I have no idea what that feels like. And she said, I don't want to bring up sons who are scared to go out jogging in fear of being shot. I don't know what that is like. The reason this matters to me, and the reason I want to speak up about this, is because if it wasn't for the civil rights protests in the 50s and 60s, we may not have seen the independent living movement. We may not have had the disability rights that we have and we benefit from today because our black friends fought for their rights back then. Many of the independent living movement and the disability rights movements inspirations came from the civil rights movements, and this is why it matters to me and it should matter to you. And this is why we have to stand united, and we have to be the activists as well. We can't be silent. So with that, how can we make a difference? First of all, if you are thinking of going out and protesting, which is something I really want to do myself, is make sure you research and know your rights. If you are going to go out and protest, make sure that you are aware of social distancing rules in your country and try and respect those. Go with someone that you trust and who can help you. I would definitely take Sean. I know that he's big and strong and he can help me if things were to turn a little bit violent. I mean, hopefully that they won't, and hopefully most of these protests are peaceful. And I think that sometimes the peaceful protests aren't being shown as much as the violent protests. Maybe it's to put us off from going out and standing up against this. Who knows? Oh my God, it's my opinion. If you can, it might be sensible to go to a town that you know particularly well. I know that next weekend there is a protest in Brighton, which I'm very keen to go to. I know Brighton very well. I know exactly where I can park. I know exactly how I can get there and I know exactly how I can get back to my car if I need to. Visit websites, sign up to their email mailing list that will keep you in the loop. And if you can't protest now, they may give you protests that you can go to at a later date when it's more safe to do so. Another thing that you can do is research the topic. Do the history work. Be committed to speaking up. If you are in a group of white friends and you yourself are white and one of your white friends tells a racist joke and you have made the decision to make a change in the Black Lives Matter movement, you've made that decision, you have to stand by it. You have to speak up. Take that person to one side. By staying silent, you are letting the problem carry on. Silence is just as bad. Be committed to making a change. Speak your voice. And I don't have an audience. That is not an excuse. Even if you have the tiniest following on social media, you can still do your bit. If you have children, you can still educate them. Your nieces, your nephews, your cousins, your family members, your friends. Audience size doesn't matter. And to be honest with you, having that one-to-one conversation with your friend who might say the odd racist joke every now and again or racist comment is probably going to be more impactful than speaking out to 100 people who hardly know you online, who are scrolling through aimlessly on social media They kind of see your post, but that's not going to go in. It's going to get drowned by all of the other posts. That individual voice is a lot more powerful. Another thing you can do is you can volunteer for organisations, and you can do this from the comfort of your own home. Are you a web developer? Have you got any social media skills? Can you offer any admin? I'm sure you have some sort of talent. I'm sure you could offer it to someone. I'm sure you could volunteer in some way. You can also raise money. Raise money for causes, and you can get creative with that. Captain Tom, he raised something like 30 million for the NHS. I'm not saying that you have to get out there and do anything physical that's going to harm you or damage you in any way. Also, you can donate. Research on where you are donating. Give what you can afford. If you think that, oh my gosh, that's nothing, it's just a tiny drop in the ocean. But if everybody thought like that, there would be nothing. But if everybody just gave exactly what they could afford, it could raise millions. Finally, if there is a particular event or organisation or protest that you wish to attend, but you can't because it's not accessible, speak up. And I'm not just talking about now, I'm talking about further down the line if we are still, unfortunately, speaking out and making protests for whatever reason. Contact the organiser, tell them what you need, tell them how it can be made more accessible. And if you are an organiser, bear people with disabilities in mind, because we still want to fight. We still want to stand with you. We may even have to do our own protests at some stage. Social change requires commitment for the long haul. This isn't a bandwagon that we should all just jump on for likes and views and hashtags. It's not a fashion, it's not a trend. This is something that I am in for the long haul, which I have always been in for the long haul. And maybe I am guilty of not speaking up, but I've always been passionate about this issue, and this is why I have to speak out now, because I didn't speak out then, but I can speak out now. Do let me know if there are any videos on this topic that you would like to see. If my next video is not on the Black Lives Matter movement, it doesn't mean that I have moved on and I have forgotten about it. As I said, change happens in the real world. It doesn't just happen on social media. I don't want to put stuff out there that I haven't done myself. I also don't really want to express everything that I am doing on social media because I feel like I have to show it off. At least I can turn around to my grandchildren and be like, yep, I helped, I got up, and I did what I could. I did everything that I could. Stay safe, everyone. Lots of love.